So we have Robert Maillet here. Thanks for joining the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
So I just screened Becky last night, and I was blown away. I was really surprised with how good it was. And you had like an integral role, and it was a really deep character that you played. What was the filming of Becky like, and how's the process of getting the part?
It was fun. The whole thing was fun. It was fun to film. You know, it was that's a very great experience filming Becky. How I got the part is it's funny. It's been a year since I auditioned for it.
Oh, really?
June, and I just received it from my agent. You know that it was an audition. And I remember reading the breakdown of the character and the synopsis of the story, and it was interesting. You know, it looked like it could be fun. And the role, I auditioned for roles like that before. You know, yeah. It's some interesting roles. Most of the time, you don't get it. That's what it is, auditioning. But I know it was. I knew I could play that role. Looking, because he was very conflicted, you know, emotional, and felt terrible, killing the kids for Dominic, and they kept butting heads throughout the film. That was the kind of the synopsis of the breakdown of my character, and I knew I could do it. I knew I could play that type of role, and so I gave it my best, and didn't hear from them for a few weeks, and then they wanted me to do I got a second call back and wanted me to do a second audition with Skype.
Okay.
With the directors, Harry and Jonathan, the co-directors. So, you know, which is cool. You got a call back. It's always exciting to be that close to getting the role, but also a bit nerve-wracking because it's Skype live, you know.
Yeah.
When I do my auditions, normally I do it on my iPad, and you tape it, so you can take a whole day to do it.
Yeah.
Until you write, and then you set it off.
Yeah.
And when you do it live,
one shot.
One shot.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, all right. I knew I had the line, and I got the emotional, you know, moments, and I understood the whole scene of the character, so I knew I could pull it off. They wanted me to do it in different. Giving me some different notes to do, and see if I have range and stuff like that. And then, so I did that. And then not too long after, they offered me the role.
Did they have you read with Kevin ahead of time?
No. Because originally, when I auditioned for it, it was Simon Pegg was attached to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was still he was originally supposed to play the Dominic part, Simon Pegg, which would have been pretty cool too, because I'm a big fan of his work. You know, he's an interesting actor. And then when I got offered the part, I found out that was Kevin got the Dominic role, because Simon had to pull out because of the scheduling issues. So it was making it more interesting because Kevin is, you know, I wanted to work with him too.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy to meet, you know. So no, I never met him until when I first got there. When they flew me in, it wasn't a script reading. We did. They wanted to do a script reading, but because they had, you know, the scheduling, it's not a big production. I mean, like, it's a small indie film, so you know, constraint and budget wise, you know, they had to do some stuff. They had to cut short, and we didn't. I didn't do a script reading for them, but I met him the day of wardrobe. Yeah, we did wardrobe for the prison. We did some prison stuff, the outfits we did.
Yeah,
that's where first time I met Kevin. I met Lulu at the same time, so it was pretty fun to meet them. You know,
she was a powerhouse, man. She was a great actor.
She's great. She's a rising star.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, I remember when I was 11, because she was offered role at 11 years old.
Unbelievable.
They couldn't do it at the time for some reason. And then she was 13 when she filmed it. I remember when I was 11 or 13, you know, I don't think I could have read scripts and be.
No chance. No chance.
I was doing nothing at all at 13, just scratching my nose or something. But she's amazing. She has the mind for it, the head for it, and she has a future. She's a little sweetheart too. She's a great mom. The mom, I didn't meet the father, but our mom was always on set.
The process of having a film released during this whole pandemic, that must have been a crazy experience. Was it slated to have a theater release before the pandemic hit?
I guess it was supposed to get a theater release in the summer. It was supposed to get its world premiere at the Tribeca Film Festival back in April.
Yeah.
I was, I was looking forward. I wanted to go to the premiere to meet, it's fun. I was at actually a year ago. I was at the Polar because I worked on Polar, Netflix Polar with Mads Mikkelsen, and I brought my daughter to New York. I was in Tribeca, in New York last year. It was fun. It was just fun. And I was looking forward to go see Becky in New York at the film festival. And but it was the outbreak starting to show up north of New York, starting to be bad. And I think, well, maybe it's not worth it. And then, of course, everything went shut down and everything got canceled, postponed. And but it would have been fun to see it in theaters. It's always fun to see it in film.
Of course, yeah.
Theaters. It's always, that would have been cool. But it's I think it's a good thing for Becky, because all the big summer movies, of course, got pushed out of the summer. All the big releases. And then you got this indie film that came out on demand and released in 50 driving theaters throughout the U.S. So it's a perfect driving movie.
It is.
And it did very, very well. I think it was, if it all goes well, if no other summer movie, big blockbusters are coming out, I think that Becky will be one of the top hits of the summer by default, thanks to the
And not only do the audiences like it, but so far it's been a hit with critics as well.
Yeah, it was surprising, I didn't know how the critics were going to like it or not, how they want to think about the movie.
Yeah, sometimes when it's like gory, the critics aren't, totally bought in, but they were.
Genre type of film, very particular genre. But they seem to love the film. I mean, it's not surprising because everybody gave their heart into it. The directors, the actors, the cast. We believed in it. It's kind of a passion project. I believed. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert of box office predictions. I just the experience of doing a film that would matter to me. I knew it was going to be a fun role to play and fun cast to work with. I had a great time in it. But who knows if it's going to do well at box office? You can't predict that. You can't choose movies about if it's going to do well or not. So that's not.
So you've been at this for over about 15 years now, I'd say. Was the role in as Apex in Becky your favorite role? It was certainly one of the deeper roles that you played.
It is one of my favorite roles. Absolutely, it's up there. It's not too much. It's not too often where I get offered roles like this, for sure. I mean, when I do get an audition for it, sometimes you don't get it. It's a meaty type of role.
Yeah.
And I knew I could do it. Probably, if I was offered 10 years ago, I probably couldn't do it. I probably didn't, but it takes time and experience. My experience of working in films in a short amount of time in the last 15 years, I learned a lot. You gain some knowledge and listening to other actors, watching other top veteran actors you work with. You learn from them, and you learn from auditions, and you learn. And I do watch myself. Like when I was a pro wrestler, I would watch tapes of my matches. Some of them were bad. I would watch them and try to learn, And the same thing with acting. I would watch my own scenes and the whole process, and you get experience and get better at it, and hopefully the next one, works out in a positive way. So, yeah.
Is there one actor in particular or actress that who gave you some advice or that you've learned from watching?
Advice? I don't know advice.
Or just watching their process, watching what they do.
I was fascinated by when I worked. The other role that I can compare to Becky was a movie I did. Actually, it was 10 years ago. The Big Bang.
Okay.
It was Antonio Banderas was the lead, and I played this former Russian boxer who comes out of prison. He does time and then comes out of prison looking for his love of his life. And then he hires Banderas. He's a private detective. He's trying to look for her. And we're just missing diamonds. It's kind of complicated. Great, amazing cast. Banderas, the Sam Elliott was in it. Snoop Dogg. I know it's just a crazy cast. And I was kind of in the middle of it. I was kind of the heart of the story. Launches the story. And he's a very emotional guy, very violent. He's a boxer. He kills people, but he's not a bad guy. He's kind of a sociopath, but he does it out of love. So I've been compared to the apex to Anton very much. And working with, I remember working with Antonio, how passionate and how he gets into the character. It's fascinating, Every actor is different,
Yeah.
Robert Downey is the same way. He's Robert Downey, all of a sudden in a minute he's Sherlock Holmes with the accent and the mannerism. It's just insane to watch. And watching those the A-list actors who does it for a career.
Yeah.
That's amazing to watch. And now you're trying to get the same vibe, the same. Like working with Kevin James, the same thing. In this film, there's Amanda Brugel, who plays the girlfriend.
Yeah.
There's the scene where she's trying to get me on her side.
On the couch, right?
The couch. Amazing. Real tears coming out of her cheeks. And it's very emotional. And I get emotional, too. It's just amazing. Really convinced me almost to get it on her side. But then working with Kevin as well, the whole thing with Kevin, he's trying to get me back on his side. The whole allegiance and.
You have that scene in the hallway, which is a really powerful scene.
I love that scene. It was so fun to play off against Kevin. We gelled a lot. We had some good chemistry because he was kind of a father figure for me. So I understood that scene, the whole scenario between my character. My character was probably on the streets when I was young.
Yeah.
And he rescued me or kidnapped me. I'm not sure. But so it's a lot of fun stuff, emotional stuff you can play around with.
Kevin must have spent forever in the makeup chair getting his chest tattoo.
He did. He only had to do it once because there's only one scene where so that one day he had the whole plate thing, chest.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. It was amazing artist. But no, he was very much into that role. He looked the part. He was cool. He was a kind of a cool cat. He didn't go over the top.
And it shows like a different side of, because he's like mostly a comedic actor, or what you think of Kevin James as. So to see this other side, I think it's going to be great for both of you guys' careers.
Well, yeah, thank you. I hope so. I was hoping to get more, because of Becky's, to get more opportunities. Like The Big Bang got more. The movie didn't do so well. It went up to DVD release.
Yeah.
But Guillermo del Toro saw me in that movie.
Okay.
Offered me the role in Pacific Rim and then play the master in The Strain. So he gave me the open doors for me. And I was hoping Becky would do the same. Well, I'm sure he will. But this year, I'm not sure.
It's a tough time, yeah.
It's a tough time. Everything's on hold and it's frustrating. You want to get moving and you can't. It's tough. It's frustrating.
So, like you mentioned, you were a pro wrestler in the first. You have like chapters. So, in the earlier chapter, you were a pro wrestler. When did you know that you were going to transition into acting?
some,
or did it just happen?
Well, it just happened. It really did kind of, the opportunity fell on me, and I took it. It started locally, because in Halifax, I was wrestling in Nova Scotia, and an actor, a local actor, Richard Collins is his name. He was known to be in the Trailer Park Boys. He's one of the main cast. Trailer Park Boys. He was a friend of my in-laws. My in-laws lived in Halifax. And he saw me wrestling. He wants to see a show at the forum. And he came up to me and said, you should do movies. The way I look.
You have the size, yeah, of course.
The way exactly.
Yeah.
You needed a henchman, monster, bad guy, whatever. I had to look for it at least. You know, probably not the acting experience, but still, you know, the imposing look. And I thought, well, that's it's something I never thought of, because I was focusing wrestling at the time. And of course, acting is obviously I knew some actors, some wrestlers.
Yeah, that's a path.
There at the time, you know, Rock was probably just starting acting at the time, but still, I was aware of wrestlers becoming actors that was successful. But something I never really thought of. You know, so far, it might have been a dream, a pipe dream so far. But then the opportunity came. I said, and he referred me to as one of his agents in Halifax. Okay, let's give it a try. And then I did a couple auditions, a few auditions. I got a couple roles out of Halifax, which was cool. I did something called Lex, a TV series. It's kind of a weird Star Trek with sexual innuendo. It's very bizarre. But cool though, you know, it's fun to be on set, you know. It didn't feel out of the norm for me, because I was used to the WWF monster machine of, you know, they're very much like a Hollywood set, behind the scenes. But you went to see Jacques Rougeau, remember?
Oh, I know, the Mountie.
Mountie.
Yeah.
Well, I worked with him. I knew Jacques. He was a friend of mine. I worked with him in Montreal, Quebec area. And they went to him first to see. He gave me my reference, my contacts to them. And then, so Jacques calls me back. Maybe they were getting frustrated, not getting a hold of me. So they contacted Jacques. And so Jacques calls me, asking me what's going on. Why do you call him back? And then he mentions, you should call them, Bob. It's Warner Brothers. You know, those two words, you know.
I will call it.
Warner Brothers. You know how big it's going to be. So I thought I blew my chance. You know, I thought it was big. So I called them back right away to make sure, and they were still interested. Thank God. So they flew me in. They flew me in for one day to Montreal to meet the producers and the stunt guys, the stunt coordinators, to see if I was big enough, first of all, to see if I could move, play with a wooden sword, to have the coordination, and how to take a fall. And at the same time, I was working a night shift job too. I was a night shift, and when I flew to Montreal, I didn't have a chance to sleep at all. Really? So I was completely tried to stay awake, tried to focus really. That I thought I was going to do my audition from lack of sleep, but and then the whole day, and then I met the producers and stuff, talking. I remember they went into the corner of the wall of the set. It was cool. There was the Spartan Village. It was awesome to watch. It was cool to be in a Hollywood set. It was very exciting. But then they decided my fate. You know, they were, okay, give us a minute. We'll talk about, see if we're going to, you know, go for the job or not. Well, all right. So they went against the wall talking about me. And I was in the middle of the set, knowing that it might be my last time on a Hollywood set.
Taking it all in.
And then they came back, and then they offered me the part, which is cool. Now I had to get the time off at work, my full-time job here at home. It was kind of tricky to do, but my boss was very good about it. You know, he knew how big it was. So we worked it out. So yeah, I mean, that was the whole experience with 300 was very exciting. The 5 hours of prepping for makeup, you know, that was long, but still pretty cool nonetheless. Very cool to be part of the whole thing. And the fight sequence, working with Gerard Butler.
You won an award for it.
I did. I don't have the award. He has the award. Yeah, it was unexpected. MTV award. I remember watching it live. I knew he was nominated, but I thought Borat was going to win because it was so out there.
Out there, yeah.
But then it won. This is cool. But yeah, it didn't go to my head. So.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool to have such a memorable role for your first role, first big time role.
But the full movie only came out like a year later because of all the post production stuff. And when it came out, it was a huge movie. It did very well. This was I'm very proud of to be part of the movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
While in the WWF, you were with them for one of their most memorable runs, the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
You're part of two major stables, the Truth Commission and then the Oddities. And Robert was Kurrgan then.
I was Kurrgan.
Did you like Truth Commission Kurrgan or Oddities Kurrgan better?
Now that I think about it, probably not at the time. I didn't really was into the Oddities at first. When they talked about the whole idea of being with the Oddities, I wasn't really too crazy about it.
Working as a face or like the whole gimmick?
Clown, the whole clown thing.
Yeah.
Goofy, and I was not into that. The dancing. Yeah, I was not. I didn't know how I was going to get into that. Was when they brought me in as part of the Truth Commission. It was this heel monster,
imposing guy,
bad guy monster, and then Kurrgan with the jackal. Of course, it's so organic there. If it doesn't work out, I was trying to learn, trying to adapt, trying to figure out how to get over there. It's hard. It's not easy. It's a big machine.
Of course, yeah.
So it's very competitive as well, and you're trying to get attention, trying to get connected with the crowd. I did my best at the time, but my direction there went like this, and for a little while I was on hold. They didn't know what to do with me, and then we were at WrestleMania 14. WrestleMania 14 with Austin,
Shawn Michaels,
and Tyson.
Tyson, yeah.
For free. It was in Boston, and of course you can bring your wives for the show.
Yeah.
And I brought down. We had a WrestleMania after party. It would be perfect for WrestleMania with all the boys and the wives. And my wife loves to dance. So I will dance with her. I don't dance usually. I'll dance with her usually. So she asked me to dance, which I did. Went on the dance floor, but then I realized I was the only one of the boys who would dance on the floor. All the boys were sitting down on a table just with their jaw open. This freaking giant dancing on the floor. And then Vince saw me dancing as well. So you should never dance in front of your boss, especially against you. He told me that he couldn't get out of his mind seeing a dancing giants. So I got a call from. It's funny though. I got a call not too long after, because I like I said, I was kind of in limbo with them. Wasn't sure. Wasn't on TV a lot, so I wasn't sure what was going on. And I got a call from my wife. I remember telling me, there's a call for you. Vince is on the phone. Vince. And in your mind, you're thinking it's Vince.
McMahon. Yeah. Vince Russo.
So I was like, okay, Vince. And then you get a call, and then I recognize his voice. It was Russo.
Yeah.
But Russo never calls me. I never got a call from Russo. Why would he call?
Yeah.
And he pitched me the whole Oddities thing. And then that's what comes from Vince. It came from McMahon, from the whole origin of the Oddities, about this fun-loving group. Now, we were the human Oddities. That's right. I was part of the Oddities with Jacko. That's
Yeah.
what they brought Silva, but it was kind of more of a heel faction.
Mm-hmm.
When he pitched me, it was the whole fun-loving group.
You guys were over.
Yeah, well, thank God we did. We were over. We weren't sure if it was going to get over, though. You know, because it pitched me the idea of singing Miss America to Luna, dressed up as a princess, and me and Silva in tuxedo on Monday Night Raw taping in San Diego. And I wanted to say no, but I said, sure.
It's an opportunity, right?
If I wasn't going to say no, they're probably going to fire me. Right? So I remember that day we were doing rehearsal. They gave me the page of Miss America, the lyrics, and I had to memorize it the whole day.
Oh,
I was a bit nervous. I had to sing in front of 20,000 people. Plus, they, seen around the world. I was like, my God, it worked out. It worked out. It really did. I remember, finally went through the curtains. Start singing. I'm not a good singer, Certain songs I could sing, my voice, but not that because I kept missing, forgetting the lines or the lyrics coming down the ramp. It didn't matter. That was the whole.
It kind of helped.
Exactly. That was the joke. That was the whole thing, and it got over. Over time, we got some great music too from the ICP. So people really got along with the music, and then Sable came down with us.
Yeah.
Sybil too she was older, and then Sybil, so she was with us, with our part of us, our team, which helped us a lot, So what's the best time? Well, Truth Commission launched my career in the WWF, my introduction, and the Oddities, we were pretty busy for sure. We got some great opportunities to be in a pay-per-view, SummerSlam. We were on the road a lot. We were in the cover of the WWF magazine.
I remember as a kid that issue.
And we had our music. We were part of the Volume 3 the
CD
theme music. So it was all good, I knew it was not going to last. It had a short run, but it was fun though. I got into the whole Kurrgan stuff. I got into it.
You wrestled a bunch of legends throughout your run there in WWF, now WWE. Undertaker, Legion of Doom. What matches stick out to you the most?
Well, what you mentioned, Taker, the Undertaker, and the Legion of Doom was pretty cool as well. But Taker, especially now lately, because he just retired.
Yeah.
Who knows? He might come back too.
As you see from the documentary,
you know what the thing is. You don't retire from wrestling. Wrestling retires you. So. But I think he might be done. I think it's his body is pretty. He's been through a rough time. But for me, it was always been the Undertaker. Even though it was a short match, I was always in awe of him when he started debuting the wrestling. When I was a fan. Actually, I was just starting my career in wrestling back in Maritimes. And the Taker, I was a big fan when he was in WCW. Because I like big guys who can move. That was kind of, And so Taker was always a fan of me, Mark, and then became the Undertaker. So I'll follow his career. And then when I got hired, the idea was, because I was at the time, I was the biggest guy there.
Oh man!
Taller, probably an inch taller than Taker, an inch taller than King. So I was really the biggest guy before Big Show came over and ruined the show for me. I was the biggest guy there, and so the idea, that's why they separated me when I was a Truth Commission. They separated me and put me as Kurrgan. Yeah. That was push I had, right, to push me to do a program with Taker on down the road, which was very exciting. Was working with the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Then Taker, every match I had, or TV matches I had, when it came back to the dressing room, he was always come up to me and give me some advice. It was very cool of him to do, very nice. And for me, I was always opening my ears to him. a lot of respect for him, for sure. So I tried to listen, try to pay attention to what he said, and, absorb it. And then, of course, the direction didn't go that way. Kurrgan went to the oddities thing, And then with my last match, when they told us we were disbanding the oddities, they were not going to let us go. They were going to send me and Silva down to Mexico to work as a program together and to learn more stuff, to get better or to get.
Was it like a developmental territory for them then?
It was, but out of sight, out of mind. The WWF had a deal with them.
Okay.
With CMLL in Mexico City. And I was not looking forward to going to Mexico City because I've been there before.
Okay.
In the first few years, it's so far away. First of all, I was going to be away for like a month and a half, away from home, because I was used to getting home every week, and then going away for 5-6 weeks. I was not looking forward to it. And going back to Mexico with the language, of course they speak English, some of them, but it's still, it's a different world out down there. I was not looking forward to go back down. But it was, like I said, with the oddities, I couldn't say no. I couldn't say no to this.
Yeah.
Because if I would have said no, they were going to let me go. So I had to go. And for a positive thing, the idea was going to bring me back and repackage Kurrgan.
Yeah.
So it was a light at the end of the tunnel.
Was there ever any thought of going? Because at that time WCW was still a thing. The Monday Night
Wars. It was, yeah. I know for sure. My last match was a Taker. It was Kurrgan versus Taker. Remember seeing Kurrgan, and I was like, "That's cool." Then I realized, I was basically going to job out. It was mostly a glorified squash match. Fine. It was very memorable. I remember we were going to talk about the match, me and Taker, what we're going to do. He looked at me and said, I don't think about a tombstone. It's too big to tombstone. This is fine with me. I said, I think I mentioned, well, you can choke slam me.
Yeah.
Before that, I never took a choke slam. I usually got taken, given the choke slam.
Given the choke slams.
Oh, exactly. So you can choke slam me. All right, let's do a choke slam. So I asked for advice, Edge, Christian, all the guys who usually take choke slam, how to do a proper one. So when it can't, the whole match was short, but it was very memorable because I remember going in the ring first. Boom, ding, 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 ding. And then the lights come down, and then the bong, and then the smoke, and the Taker comes out. I was like, Jesus.
Like, you can feel it.
Yeah, you feel it. You do really feel it. That was pretty empowering. Very, I was in awe. And you realize that then on TV, you're really in the match with them too. It's like, it's mind-boggling. He comes in, do a little thing where, he gives me a flying clothesline, which is awesome too.
Yeah.
I took his flying clothesline, which was really cool. And then his punches were so easy too. He's such a light worker too, such a professional. And then the choke slam, I went up for him, and he was happy at the end. The choke slam. Didn't think I could go up, but I went up for him. But anyways, so did that, and then so that's where they released us. Well, they let us, they disbanded us. Everybody came in and beat us up on the Ministry of Darkness. They destroyed the oddities, and then sending us to Mexico, and then that's where they let me go. They go when I was down in Mexico. Well, when I came back home for like a break, that's why I got the call to let me go. It was it was a tough few days to take there.
You said you followed Taker's career from like WCW in. Were you a fan? Did you always know you wanted to be a wrestler growing up?
I wanted to be a wrestler ever since I was in my teens, for sure. Fan of maritime wrestling, Atlantic Grand Prix wrestling in Maritimes. I used to follow that on TV every weekend and local, where they had local shows or an area. I was a big fan of it. But then when I watched the WWF for the first time, when they had cable, access to cable for the first time, watched. This is in '86, '87. This is the golden age.
Big time, yeah.
Kurrgan, Macho Man, and Andre, of course, and all the big names of over the top, big crowds. It was like, oh, what is this? This is awesome, this is cool. So I got hooked. I really got hooked. Never thought of being a wrestler at first. Maybe there's some people you should be a wrestler because of my height. I was always twice the size of people my age. I was always a tall guy. He said, maybe you should be a wrestler. I never really considered it, And when I saw the WWF, it really caught on, and maybe I got encouraged from my friends or my family, and I convinced myself I could do it. I could be a wrestler. I could be a pro wrestler. Make a living out of it. And then it took a while because it's hard to find something in the Maritimes. You had to go outside.
Yeah.
Went to Ontario or Toronto, because I couldn't afford to do. So it was trying to find the right wrestlers to poke at, which I did. I went to the local promoter, the local promoter, which lives half hour away from me. Went to his door. He wasn't interested because maybe I was tall, but wasn't. I didn't go to the gym. He wanted me to get some more weight and whatever it was. I went to see another wrestler, a local wrestler, a well-known wrestler, Stephen Pettipaw. I seen him at a hockey game. He was playing in my hometown. He was interested, but didn't have time for me at the time. But he remembered me later in the summer of that year. Actually, it's funny though. It's been 30 years this summer.
Oh wow!
It's crazy though. Since I got trained for, I got the call for if I was still interested in being trained as a wrestler, because there's a few guys that had to leave the territory during the summer season, and then they needed some guys to finish the season. This is towards the end of the summer, like August, September. I said, that's my opportunity.
Sign me up.
Sign me up, and it was a crash course in wrestling. It's not it's about a month of how to take a bump, how to lock up, headlock, basic stuff. And then it was me and two other guys. And they started before me. They were basically used as jobbers-ish, for TV tapings. So I was afraid I was going to be the same way too. And then but of course, when they got me, the way I looked, I was the attraction. I was the giant.
Yeah.
So basically I was whatever, the French giant, the Acadian giant, the Canadian giant, lumberjack, whatever it was. I was the giant. So I was my first match in my hometown with my trainer, the mentor, tag team against Bulldog Bob Brown and Timothy Flowers in front of my hometown crowd.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nerve-wracking, but exciting, And that's how I got. We were on the road, and it's the whole experience in that center was fun. Well, that was my dream to be a wrestler. And then all of a sudden you're in it,
Yeah.
And then, but it took a long time. Of course, putting in WWF.
I think Bret Hart came along at some point, and
well, yeah, he did. 5 years later, because it was doing all right wrestling in the summer, and but then this wrestling stopped in the Maritimes. Figure out. I mean, I went overseas, wrestling overseas.
Oh wow!
Went to Mexico for the first time.
Yeah.
Went to Japan from there. Some great opportunities, great places to go work. But then it kind of slowed down. The career kind of slowed down, and then the whole thing with Bret come along 5 years later, because it was because of Leo Burke, no wrestler in the Maritimes. It's him and his three brothers were one of the big stars in the Maritimes, and outside of Moncton. And Leo Burke is did most of his career in Calgary.
Stampede Wrestling.
For Stampede, working for Stu. And he knew the family very well. Leo knew Bret since Bret was a kid, So Bret learned a lot from Leo. Leo is one of the best guys in pro wrestling. And Bret learned a lot from Leo, big time. And when I got the call from Leo, out of the blue, saying Bret wanted to meet me. Because Leo was assisting training guys, working with the WWF.
Okay.
New talents at Bret's house. In
the dungeon.
Not the dungeon.
Not the dungeon? Oh, okay.
At Bret's home.
Okay.
House. He had a ring set up over his pool. A WWF ring.
That's awesome.
An indoor pool in the middle of winter. And so when I got the call from Leo, because Leo told Bret about me, and Bret was interested. And then, this is the call I wanted. That's the call I wanted to have. And so they flew me down. I remember they flew me down. I got a layover in Toronto. And that's where I met Carl DeMarco. Carl DeMarco was the WWF president at the time of Canadian relations. And so I met Carl, telling me, if you wanted to size me up, we'll meet me to make sure I was, how my attitude was, I guess. He asked me, I remember, to make sure you save your money and to tan. Because TV, you
don't want to look pasty, you know?
Yeah, well, that's right. That's good advice. Thanks, Carl. So I flew and then I got there, and then I flew to Calgary. And that's where I met Bret. I met Leo, I met Bret. Very exciting to meet Bret for the first time. Very cool. Very humble guy.
Canadian legend.
Well, absolutely. Very humble, very quiet guy. Very cool cat. Right to his house. He had his own kind of a fun house type in his basement. He had all this crazy. He has his gym, but also he has toys and artifacts. He had a dummy. Remember, he had a dummy we can turn on, and the dummy would shake on an electric. But it's very awesome, cool, and that's where we started to work out there, and I spent a month there, basically learning the basic stuff, which I knew already.
Yeah.
That's just to make sure I have it. And the end of that month, Bret thought I was ready for it. I was ready. So, and then that was in December, and then back home for Christmas, and then right away after that, they flew me down to Stamford, Connecticut. Now Stamford, that's with the headquarters.
Headquarters, yeah.
And that's where I met the whole point for me is to groom me up to be part of the Truth Commission, right? So that's where I met my future partners at a hotel. Met Robin Smith, who plays the commandant, and then there's Barry and Mike Halleck. Met them. This was cool. Started training at the WWF facilities at the studio with the ring set up to make sure how to work it together as a team. That's where I met Vince McMahon for the first time. I remember he was walking in when we were doing our training. He had a suitcase. And it was like fucking God coming in,
Yeah.
It was like, holy Jesus. And then we stopped, and then he watched us for a few minutes, because the whole thing with us was about marching.
Yeah.
So, and he told us some advice about marching. Make sure you get our marching right, because he went to military school when he was a kid, so he knew what he was
talking about.
And I remember he liked my look. He liked the way I looked. He liked my face, my facial expression. Maybe because I was a big guy, He liked my facial mean face. That was a good thing to have, at least.
Although a lot of people say you're one of the nicest people in the wrestling business. I've heard that multiple times.
Well, of course, I treat people how I want to be treated. I always treat people with respect. But yeah, and then from there, after 2 weeks, they sent us down to Memphis, Tennessee.
Was that Lawler's territory?
Now, for more training, right? for USWA. And that didn't tell us how long we were going to be there. It just depended how good or
how you progress,
right? So it's told us maybe a month. Okay, a month. Okay, sure. Now it became more than that. It became 4 months. So it was fun, but uncertain times too. We could have been let go at any time if they didn't want us, really.
Yeah.
But we were working every day on the road throughout the South, really. Throughout Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, Mississippi, every day for armory shows, gymnasium shows.
A couple hundred people.
Couple hundred people. You learn, though,
Yeah.
It reminded me of the Maritime. Maritime was the same way, 7 days a week. That's a great way to learn.
Yeah.
Grew up one night, you can try something else the next night. But it was fun. It was fun. Like I said, stressful because away from the family for so long.
Yeah.
I never had time to. This is Memphis. It's so far away from the New Brunswick.
And then you're wondering when the call-up's coming, and.
Well, exactly. Didn't know if they were going to get called up. It was, it was tough. It was tough. But at the end of the 4 months, I was going to get married, by the way.
Okay.
We're preparing to get, my wife was making arrangements to get married when I was working in the States. And we were going to take a break. They were going to let us, I was able to come home. They were kind of infighting in the office. Jim Ross and Bruce Pritchard. It's kind of a power struggle type. Jim Ross was for us. Pritchard wasn't for us. He wasn't pushing for us. And Bret was in the middle of that. Bret was a supporter, of course. Then they decided to let us go. That basically, they didn't want to go further with the Truth Commission. This is, after 4 months, it's kind of disappointing. But then, so we went home. I went home, basically got married the next day. The next day after I got home, got married. In the middle of our honeymoon, we were in Cape Breton in Nova Scotia. Got the call from Bruce Pritchard saying they were still interested. They wanted to see us again, just give us another chance, another try, like a tryout match, a dark match. They would fly us into Detroit. We were doing a TV taping, a Monday Night Raw taping in Detroit. We were a dark match there. And I had to cut short my honeymoon to fly to Detroit. This was a do or die for us. And so, it was pretty.
Well, you did.
Yeah, it was. It was a 6-man tag.
Okay.
It wasn't on me. It was the Truth Commission against the 3 local guys. One of them was Rhino. There was not a big star at the time. This is a big guy, though. So we did our match in front of 8,000 people. That's where I remember going backstage, seeing all the boys and all the backstage stuff you see in the TV taping. It was like, holy crap, here we go. We knew what we could do, so we did I did my stuff, we did our match, and they were happy with our match. They were happy with me. They let Mike Halleck go, because Mike Halleck was the mentor back in the era.
Oh, yeah. People rag on him for that.
Yeah, he was on thin ice already with the office, the S&P. Anyways, they let him go, and they replaced him with Luc Poirier. Luc Poirier is from a guy from Quebec, but he was known as.
It's okay.
Outside. He was known as he worked in Europe a lot, in Germany a lot, and so he came down with us. Good guy, very good athlete, good guy, great attitude. So we gelled a lot, So that's why you got launched as a Truth Commission from there. So fun summer, actually.
And then, as you're speaking of Bret Hart and then Vince McMahon, you were with the company later that year when the infamous Montreal Screwjob happened. What was the vibe? I mean, I know because I heard some of the boys maybe didn't show up the next day, and it was heated behind the scenes. What do you remember from that Survivor Series '97 and that time?
It was a crazy weekend. I didn't know the whole backstory to it. I knew Bret and Shawn had some heat together, for sure. I knew there were some backstage fight throughout that months before. So I knew they had some heat. But I didn't know the whole politics of it all. I didn't know the backstory at all.
Well, more details have come out throughout the years, you know.
Well, it did. But for me, I was, even though I was part of the whole WWF, I was out of the loop there, for sure. But when we found out, this 3 days before Survivor Series, we had a big match, right? Of course.
Yes. You guys started the show, I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we were one of the first 2 matches, for sure. We were in Montreal somewhere. We found out that Bret was going to will have his last match Sunday. His last match, and he'll go to WCW. This is completely shock for me, for me and my team. It's like, oh, what? Because I thought Bret was going to have a long career, going to retire with the WWF, of course, since a main big star for them. And of course, I know a lot of guys were leaving for WCW, but never thought Bret would do it. And I was like, my God, what the hell's going on, Bret? And then we did that day of the Survivor. We were preparing a match. We were focusing on our match. And then we did our stuff, did our match. I got over as the sole survivor. And then afterwards, we got dressed up. And we decided to stay. Usually we leave after the match, unless they tell us to.
Okay.
We would leave after to make sure that you go to the restaurant to make sure they're open before they close. But it's a long night, before. Yeah, if you stay at the end of the show, it's usually everything's closed. So, but we decided for some reason to stay because I knew there was a history making. It was going to be Bret's last match. So
stick around for it.
Bret helped me and helped us. It was a big supporter. So we wanted to stay to see what the whole fuss was all about. So we watched it on the monitors. Me and Barry Buchanan, Recon, and I watched it. And then in the middle of that match, everything stopped. And it was like, that's not right. All the facial reaction, Bret's reaction, and it was something wrong. It was something not planned.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Barry, he was like, yeah, we should go. Get that out of there before shit hits the floor. And then we went to our dressing room. Now, our dressing room, we shared it with Shawn and Bret. So we went in to get our stuff, and then the agents told us to stay. For the reason, because of the past history with Shawn and Bret, because of the fight.
Break it up if anything happens.
It was like, great, get us involved. Being between Bret, who's helped us. We want to stop Bret from beating up Shawn. Yeah. But we had no choice. Really, we had to stay.
Yeah.
So we did. We waited. And then Shawn came in crying, saying he was not involved, blah, blah, blah. And then not too long after, Bret comes in, very quiet, just seething, angry, really quiet. Remember asking Shawn if he had anything to do with it, and Shawn was crying, blah, 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 no. And then Bret went to the showers afterwards. And then that's when they told us to leave. I think it was all to do with the Undertaker. I just found out that the Undertaker wanted Vince to face. Taker was pissed off what happened.
Yeah.
He wanted Vince to face Bret. And then Taker basically told a lot of the boys in the dressing room to leave. Only the essential guys would have to stay, the agents or whatnot. But we were happy to go. We were happy.
We wanted to go anyway.
So we're getting involved with that. So we went to our cars. I remember seeing Vince at our cars at the garage, kind of loopy, Didn't didn't think he was punched at all. It never came to us that he was. Never imagined he would get punched out. But he was kind of loopy, getting with his entourage with him. So that was weird. So we got to a hotel, and that's what the boys told us that what happened. And he got shot by Bret, and it was like our minds were exploding, but blowing away. Couldn't believe what was going on that night. It's just surreal. And then the next day it was Monday Night Raw in Ottawa. And Vince gave his speech before taping with all the boys, saying he had to do it for his reasons, blah, 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 for his business. It was all for business.
Yeah. And
it divided a lot of the boys, for sure. A lot of boys wanted to leave, and they were very angry with Vince and the whole thing. And for us, we lost our support. We did lost.
Bret was an advocate for you guys.
And a mentor too, because I would always ask him advice, of course, and he's not there anymore. It was very strange. The next few months were very strange. That's where they started to push me as the Kurrgan. They separated me. That's where they started to push me afterwards. It was very weird times for sure. I guess it was a good time for the WWF. That's where Vince became a heel in Austin.
Yeah, kind of sent it up boosted the Attitude Era into the next level.
That was a very fun time to be part of, but very, very weird without Bret being there, though. How it happened, So I'm always happy that I was there for it. Though. I'm always proud of that, part of history. So.
Did you have a relationship with Owen?
I did. I wasn't close to Owen. Of course, but I was always friendly with Owen. Owen was friendly with me. I remember because my first tryout, this is my second tryout with the WWF, first of all. That's 96, 97. My first tryout was in 91. That didn't go 91. That's my first year of my career. I flew into Utica, New York.
I'm from New York, so I know where Utica is. It's not too far.
Yeah, exactly. Well, first time I went, this is the first time for everything for me. I got the call from Leo Burke. I think it was from Leo Burke. They were interested in seeing me at a taping. I was like, all right. I was overwhelmed, nervous, and excited.
So you're a couple years in at this point then?
A couple years in. And they flew me in to Utica, to Syracuse, first of all. It's Syracuse, and then we drove to Utica. Everything was new to me. First time in the U.S., first time on a plane. Everything was like, holy Christ, fish out of water time. And then we went to the airport. When they flew into the airport, they were waiting for Owen. Owen came from Europe. He was working in Europe. And so they picked us up together. So that's the first time I met Owen.
Oh, okay.
Which was very cool. First time I met a WWF star at the time. Good guys, it was great. We talked on the bus, in the van, going to the building. And that's where I met everybody. I remember meeting everybody there, all the big names. Taker was there.
Yeah, 91, right? So
everybody was there.
Hogan, maybe.
He was there with the company. I didn't see him there.
Yeah, he had a funky schedule there in the early 90s.
I saw Flair. I saw Piper. I saw Bret for the first time. I saw John Tenta, Earthquake, of course. Was
who you worked with.
With your partner. I remember chatting with John Tenta, talking to him there. And then 5 years later, I'm his partner. It was kind of cool.
Was Tenta happy with the Golga gimmick? Not to get off topic, but
it wasn't at first. No.
Kind of both in the same boat.
He wasn't happy with that. He made it work though. He made it got over with the whole doll thing.
Yeah.
He lost a lot of weight though, for it. He was in good shape, and great guy to be with, hot tempered. Okay, story. I know you wanted to ask Owen. Owen remind me about Tenta afterwards. But Owen, we were I remember being on the road with Owen. He had to have a drive. He lost his drive for some reason. So Owen catch a ride with us, me and Don Callis, the jockey. So I was driving. No, he was driving because he was nervous about my driving. Owen. he heard some stories that so he was driving and I was in the back seat and was in front. 3-hour drive, talking about the business, talking about life. It was very cool. It was good, very cool guy. And I saw him, the last time I saw him was at WrestleMania 15 in Philadelphia. Last time I saw him there was at a party, talking, and then 2 months later, it happened.
Unbelievable.
I was in Mexico. When they sent us down to Mexico after the oddities. I was in Mexico City when I got the call in the hotel from my wife in the middle of the night. This is unusual, really, when she called. It was just telling me the news, and I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. I couldn't believe her at all until the next day when I went to the newsstands, because I didn't have access to the internet.
Yeah, it was pre-99. It was
pre-99, right? Very pre. I saw the newspaper. The article, Owen Hart dead. And then that's where it really hit me. It's even now, even today, it's still a shock. Especially when you got the whole dark side of the ring.
Yeah.
Document and all that. And it brings back memories of it all. And it was very hard for me not to be there as well, because I was in Mexico when they did their tribute show the next day on Raw. I would have loved to be there. I couldn't because I was down in another country, but I would have loved to be at the funeral as well. Stuff I couldn't do at the time, but I felt terrible for everybody, for the family. It was, it should never happen at all. It should never happen, especially a guy who wasn't a high-risk wrestler at all. He was a careful guy, very professional, beloved guy, and then so shocking what happened to him. So yeah, the whole thing, it changed wrestling, I think.
Of course, sure. Yeah.
So, but now talking about Tenta, he had a short temper sometimes. When he get pissed off, you can tell.
Well, he was like a real sumo wrestler at one point, right?
Trained as a sumo wrestler. He didn't like that, and he left. There's a lot of politics in Japan, but he had being disrespectful is you shouldn't disrespect him at all, and then that's where he gets mad. We were kind of a program with Too Cool,
Brian Christopher and Scotty Cincinnati.
You say people say program, I say married. We were married to them for a long time. This is fun. It was fun to work with. Those fun guys to work with.
Yeah.
We're big guys, small guys. It was tough. But we were TV taping somewhere, I forget where, talking backstage about our construction, our match, and talking about what stuff I wanted to do with, did a little high spots, blah, blah, blah. And then when it came to John, Brian Christopher kind of stuffed him, but basically, we'll figure it out in the ring. So John wanted
ring.
On the ring. John wanted to do some stuff he wanted to do with him, but Christopher kind of rubbed him off. Nah, we'll do it in the ring.
Don't do that.
Off. Because John is not. John has a history in the WWF with Kurrgan. He worked with Kurrgan.
Yeah.
Right. Main events.
Yeah.
Main events. And so he disrespected him as just as a local jobber type, and he pissed him off. He yelled. I remember yelling when John gets mad. But you see Earthquake gets mad, yelling Earthquake and goes his pummels. Well, he goes like that. It's like a volcano erupting. What and that scared the shit out of Brian Christopher. Scared Scott as well. He wanted, and everybody knew about it, of course. Even Jim Ross, who was the head of town, came to Christopher and said, "What did you do? What?"
Like he's not the guy to piss off, man.
Exactly. He went there. You think people was going? The boys thought he was going to hurt Christopher in the ring, And I didn't know what the hell was going on either. I just didn't say anything at all. When it came to the match, all the stuff I wanted to do, basically it was all John in the ring. He just basically, I didn't have a chance to do my stuff. Basically, he tags me out. He was in, and he didn't give anything. It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt.
Yeah.
It didn't give Brian anything at all.
Didn't let him get a shit in.
Just basically just to shit on him, slam. Didn't give. And then the big finish. I think we went over. But that was it. It was a curtain sell. All the boys were watching back to see if something was going to bad.
Yeah. Because they knew the real heat backstage, so maybe.
It was scared shitless for sure. So, and it was like that traffic-wise. So it was bad traffic on the interstates at the time, going to a show, and we got stuck in gridlock in construction on the interstate. And I remember driving a car behind a bunch of kids doing, making fun of us or something, giving us the finger. And John got seething hot. And then one time with a car, when he was behind us, he came beside us during traffic. So we were basically side to side, And then both of us rolled out the window. The guys, those kids thought they were going to terrify us. And then they realized we were two big guys in the car.
Huge dudes.
And John gave them a promo, basically an earthquake promo. And we're going to tear your head up and shit down your throat. I was like,
oh my God.
And the guy was like, they rolled back the window up.
That's funny.
That's hilarious. But it was a great partner to have. Had a good heart. Very intense. Sometimes he would argue with his wife. It was a yelling match, and he had to stay out of the room, out of the hotel room. He said, "Okay, I'll go away and make sure you calm down when you get back." But no, it was in this time because he passed away. He was a great guy to be with, and he loved his family.
Yeah, John Tenta, unfortunately, he passed away. But are there any wrestlers from that era or that you keep in touch with nowadays?
I somewhat do. It's hard though because we live so far apart. Maybe still keep in touch on Twitter.
Yeah.
Facebook or Instagram, I guess. It's mostly with Adam Copeland.
Oh, Edge, yeah, Edge. He's a Canadian guy, right?
Sure. Well, we worked on the road a lot when you first started. We were on the road together. On the carpooling, the Canadian clique. So we get to know Adam a lot, and then I had a chance to work with him on Haven, the TV series Haven.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Well, he was one of the regulars on the show, to the sheriff, and I had a recurring role because that was all shot in Halifax, which is 3 hours away, and I got a part in it where I had a recurring role, and there's a scene where there's a fight scene between his character and my character. Basically, the scene is where he tackles me down. He's like, tackle, interesting.
Yeah, he knows how to do that.
So I remember we were rehearsing the fight before filming with stunt coordinator, and the stunt coordinator didn't really have to be there, basically, because we knew each other so well from wrestling.
Yeah.
We know how to do.
We got this.
We got this. It's fine. What's great though is we have mats. Big thick mats. Compared to wrestling, we don't have mats. Here we have mats where you can cheat at least, But I took his spear like a pro, I took the bump for him. It was fun. It was fun to reunite and work with him. Now he just came back from wrestling.
Yeah, he had to come back.
Which is crazy, at our age, but he's determined. He's a fighter, He's focused, He's a pretty motivated guy. He loves what he's doing, and I hope he stays. Healthy. I know he tore his tricep in his last match, pay-per-view match, but yeah, he's a great guy, great heart.
Do you have the network and keep up with the product?
I somewhat have the network. I don't get the whole thing. I can watch older stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't follow the current stuff.
Same here.
Yeah.
I only like the older stuff.
I like the older pay-per-views, older matches, especially now when you can see a crowd.
Yeah.
You know? And so I like to watch that era there. I was part of the era that I grew up watching as well.
Yeah.
But not the current. I'm aware of the current stuff. Some when you flip the channel, I'll watch it. I don't watch it now because, I don't.
It's weird without a crowd, and it's just like it looks. I think the crowd plays so much. And the crowd plays such a huge role in the portrayal and for the wrestlers themselves.
You're missing the fourth wheel. Fourth wheel is the crowd, so you're missing out. So it is bizarre. What I do watch, I'm more of a fan of baseball, actually.
Oh, I played baseball in college, so I'm a big baseball fan. Yeah.
I was a fan. I was a casual fan over the years. Not a big fan, I understood baseball because I played it in high school.
Yeah.
Little, junior school. So I understood baseball. I played catch with my best friend. I thought it was cool if you can bat the ball far. It's always awesome. Always cool. So strength. So I the longest since I was a kid, I understood baseball. Of course, hockey was always involved watching hockey, but I always respected baseball. And then, of course, when the Jays won,
Joe Carter.
93.
Yeah.
It's exciting, My dad was a big fan of baseball, the Expos and then the Jays. So, baseball was always part, but never a big follower of sports itself, hockey or baseball, football. Never followed. And then a couple of years ago, I was in Toronto. I shoot a lot in Toronto. And then we had a couple of days off. And then the driver I was with, he dropped me off at the hotel and said, well, you should go catch a game. The Jays are in
Rogers Center, right?
What's this 5-minute walk from the hotel?
Sure.
I thought in my mind it's expensive to watch a game, which it could be if you watch, depending on the seats or thing. But you can watch a game for $30 on the bleeding section, nosebleed section. I thought, that's a good idea. What else? Watching a live ball game. This is cool. Sure. So I went and I got into the whole thing. I got into the whole story, the drama, I got into it. I got hooked.
Yeah.
I wanted more. And then the MLB channel, my wife was like shaking her head. What the hell are you doing?
What happened?
I was starting to be a baseball fan. And then, of course, there's no, back home, here in Moncton area, there's the local baseball. So this is the only baseball I could find, local baseball I could find to go watch live, when you're not in Toronto. So I try to catch baseballs everywhere. So I watched, every time I had an opportunity to go to Toronto, and if you were in town, I would go see the ball game. I watched like 8-9 times.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. It's fun. Baseball's fun. It's just fun to watch.
And it should be coming back here in a few weeks.
Well, yeah. This is cool and weird.
Yeah, we're no fans again.
No fans, but at least it's something. At least it's baseball. At least baseball's coming back. If everybody stays healthy, it'd be weird a shortened season because it is boring in the summer. In spring and summer, it was very, of course, with the virus.
Yeah.
But no baseball is super boring.
Oh, throughout the summer, it's like the soundtrack to your summer. There's a game on every night. You can count on it.
I know. I was used to like last summer. It was a ball game on, whoever was playing. It was just, especially if it was the Jays.
Just on.
Just on. Great way to have a drink and watch a game. Now it's missing back. The summer it's like now. But Raw it's funny. Raw was in Toronto. This is last summer. Raw was during the Raw taping at the Scotiabank, and then the ball game was over at the Rogers at the same time. And one of the fans comment on Facebook or something, why didn't you go to see Monday Night Raw? First of all, I'm not going to pay to get into. Been there, done that. Yeah, baseball. I'm more of a fan of baseball than God. But there you have it. So it's weird though. I'm happy. Like I said, I'm happy I started 30 years ago. If I would start wrestling now, start my career, that would be a big issue. It's, for indie wrestling, it's terrible for them because there's no wrestling going on, nothing.
Like it's kind of monopolized now. There's no territory system. It's
Yeah.
indies, and you got to get called up to NXT, or else you're going to be, you know.
In the Maritimes right now, it's restarting. There's some couple of great, indie wrestling. There's some great potential as wrestlers. There's some great wrestlers, great workers. They're not. It's a bit different when I first started. They're wrestling two, 3 times a month compared to us. We were
6-7 days
during the summer. Of course, we never worked in the winter. But they do shows during the winter at the casinos or gymnasiums. It's a bit different when I first started, for sure. But it's a great potential. Some great athletes here in the Maritimes. And people are craving for wrestling in the Maritimes. They love wrestling. But indie wrestling is suffering, like many artists do during the pandemic. There's nothing much, you can't make a living out of indie wrestling unless you were the WWF, which they can afford to do it.
Yeah.
Especially you're essential. It is tough for everybody. And sure wrestling is suffering. I hope it will survive when it comes back. I hope it gets back to normal. Hopefully it'll be back. Yeah, there is a huge fan base in the Maritimes. It's a great way to start. That's where I got my start here. So, yeah.
So what's next for you? Have any auditions lined up, or?
Well, I did an audition a month ago for a film. It's supposed to be filming at the end of the year. It's, November.
It's kind of no one really is weirder now.
Yeah. Well, and it's would be filmed in Europe somewhere, Romania or Spain, which is cool. But at the same time, is it going to happen?
Yeah.
A lot of uncertainties, So it is nice. It's cool to do an audition. It's exciting because it's my only audition I did so far this year. So if it's going to happen, that's cool. It's not. I mean, how bad is it going to get? I mean, I know we're recovering, we're getting better in Canada. Yeah. But it could change in the fall with the second wave. Who knows, right?
Yeah, it's up in the air.
Up in the air. And everything's on hold. All production's on hold here in Canada. I know they're trying to reopen productions in Toronto, certain shows with restrictions. So for me, I'm outside of the province, So you usually fly me in, But for this, it could be an issue flying me in too,
Yeah.
Do I quarantine myself for 2 weeks before shooting? I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to film anything this year.
It would be great if we can just get a vaccine and call it a day, and
If it be tomorrow, and call it
that would be great.
Oh, it's right. You can get a vaccine next year. I don't know. It's weird. I was hoping. I just turned 50 last fall, right?
Yeah.
Big stone. And hoping to get more work this year. Like Becky was great. I did a lot of stuff this year, something on Netflix, episodic stuff for Netflix. So I was hoping to get more work out of it, to get the momentum going. And then,
boom, yeah.
Got a big wall. Try to figure out how to get around the wall. No, it's bizarre. It's very bizarre, but. It's not the end of the world, they'll all find work.
You have your health and...
I have my health. My family's healthy.
Yeah.
That's all that matters, really.
We'll get through it.
I don't live in a small, some people are stuck in the city, in the small condos and apartments. They can't move around. I live in a rural area. I have 20 acres of land around me, so in the spring, was no issue taking a walk and getting some fresh air. I bicycle a lot. Last 2 weeks, I got my mountain bike and I bike around the back roads. A lot of space and a lot of distancing from people, so there's no issue there. So at least you can clear your mind, I'm not trapped like some people are, unfortunately. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Rob. Where can everyone find you at? And I follow you on Instagram and Twitter.
Well, Instagram is under my name, I guess. I know it's my hashtag at @Maillet_Robert, something like that.
There you go.
Find my name, you can find it there. And then Facebook, I have my fan page, and then on Twitter as well under my name. So.
Yeah. Well, the movie was great, and I know that the next project will be as well. So
thank you. I mean, every film that I do, every work I do, it gives me a jolt to my confidence. You know what I mean? I knew I could do it. I knew I can do it, and to prove to other people, to my friends and family, or to other fans that I can do it. I can play a role. I can dramatic role. I can play a complicated character. You know? So it's nice to get positive feedback. You know? And I'm happy the movie is doing well too. You know? I saw that it was on Ford's website. That Becky and another horror film, I forget the Reds horror film. Becky by default will be #1 this summer. Because all the big movies are out. So it's just cool, you know. It's very neat to be part of something.
You can find it everywhere. I found it on Apple TV. It was $7 and it was totally worth it. So everyone that's watching that's gonna watch this, make sure to watch it because it's
fun.
Awesome. I thought of it like it was like a gory version of Home Alone.
It is. And that's how they pitched it. You know, I think more of a bit of a Die Hard involved into it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
All right, Rob. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you coming on, and we'll definitely be in touch. All right.
Please do. Stay healthy. Thank
You too.